The movement was begun by a scientist who discovered, quite by accident, these signals being sent. Please understand, they are safe as long as they are not discovered.
They want their weapon.
Look out for Charlie.
I want that son of a bitch dead. I want him dead.
Lookoutfa.charlie has broken the voice of God weapon stagger code. The U.S. federal government, Mossad, Blue Cube, Black Cube and Kroll have all refused to make comments. Other than stating that Lookoutfa.charlie is an enemy combatant, a Nazi and an anti-Semite. The Mossad also added that Lookoutfa.charlie hates puppies and once stomped on a baby dolphin for no reason. He doesn't use a catalytic converter and is an extremist. He should be eradicated from the earth. Jeff Snyder, formerly of Black Cube, who is now part of the American Psychiatric Association, stated,
"It's a complicated situation. You have people trying to put food on their table. Each psychiatric diagnosis brings in big money. When someone like Lookoutfa.charlie comes along and shows the world something like this, it's like revealing how a magician's trick is done. How is that magician supposed to eat? This guy is literally taking the food off the feds, Mossad's and other contractors' tables. What a piece of shit. He is the definition of an enemy combatant and a terrorist."
We contacted Lookoutfa.charlie for comment, but he only responded with,
"I don't talk to Bolsheviks,"
and hung up the phone.
So I'm going to put these earphones in and they're going to try to do a series of tests. Okay, so I'm now hearing sort of whispers and voices in my head, and the first test is some number puzzles.
You suck and they know it. Did you get this right?
Okay, so I did this test for 3 minutes and I did not get a single one. It's very hard to concentrate when, if it's like music or something constant, it's easy, but people talking to you, it's very difficult.
Ordinarily, individuals are entitled to bail. Given the nature of the charges, you are currently being held on a no-bond hold. And stay away from any other location the victims are likely to be found. You shall refrain from contacting, directly or indirectly.
It's hard to concentrate when, if it's like music or something constant, it's easy, but people talking to you, it's very difficult.
Given the nature of the charges, you are currently being held on a no-bond hold.
People talking to you, it's very difficult.
You've probably heard stories in the past about somebody hearing voices and they were telling the person to shoot somebody and finally the person just can't handle it anymore because they've been up so long and they flip out and they shoot somebody. Or somebody comes up to you and says, "These people that kill thousands of children have a speaker in my ear and I can't get away from them." And you're like, what the hell are you talking about? Or you ran into a homeless person like that. One time when I was in a bar, I had a woman come up and tell me that George Bush was talking in her ear, and she was telling me all these political strategies. This phenomena of hearing voices has been progressively getting worse and worse and worse, with higher numbers and higher numbers since around the late 60s, early 70s, going on up. It's been going up, up, up. If you think that's a coincidence, that's your problem. You know what? I don't have time to try to convince people that are running on a completely different processor. It's like trying to get a Commodore 64 to run Windows. It's just not going to happen. And if you do possess a 3-digit IQ, critical thinking skills, and aren't inundated with propaganda, then stick around because this is going to blow your mind. The following audio was put together by Schizophrenics with the help of audio hack jobs in the attempt to show you what schizophrenia sounds like. And what the public isn't aware of is that it's not just usually, one voice talking to you. It's a mess of sound, warped, garbled voices. It can be very quiet, hard to hear, warbling, hard to understand. There are actually alleged schizophrenics out there that hear a warped voice or voices in the room, in their vicinity, or right next to them in the background, but can never understand what they're saying. Does that make any sense? So your schizophrenia has a broken connection? It's ridiculous. And what they don't tell you is most of these people, have artificial tinnitus first, and then it slowly progresses into voices. Some people just have the artificial tinnitus and it never turns into voices. So check this out. This is by the Schizophrenic Symphony Orchestra.
You are the one. I came for you. I came for you because you are the one. It's you. You are the one I came for. You
Stop.
are the one. It's you. It's you I came for. It's you. It's you.
Look at their eyes. Look at them.
Now listen to the characteristics of this, and listen to the warbling and the voices in the background, and pay attention to the fact that they put a heartbeat in there instead of low ELF, like low frequency voices.
Their eyes are full of disgust. You are disgusting. They're looking at you and seeing you, and they see everything you do, and you are disgusting. Don't touch that.
So it's a bed of noise with voices jumping up. This is what got me to change the game. I've played the signal for people for years and what the signal sounds like. But is the person blasted with the signal? No. And when I say that people aren't blasted with the signal, I mean that they aren't blasted at like 80 decibels. It's a slow thing that comes on. And generally, people begin to hear it and don't understand it fully for a while. Generally, it's quiet. It's hard to hear. In most cases, they're hit with artificial tinnitus first, and then it slowly becomes voices. Then they can slowly understand them. It's a process. Your ears have to acclimate to it, just like the sine wave speech that I showed you a couple videos ago. Now, here is the moment of truth. That schizophrenic audio that you heard, that hack job crap, listen to this and think about the audio that you just listened to. This is what they meant to make. How do I know that that's exactly what they were trying to make? Because this is a recording of somebody who is hearing voices. This is their vicinity with no TVs on, nothing on. This is a case I've been working on, and that is the signal. That is what people are hearing. And if you willingly listen to that audio, or are forced to listen to something like that in your ears for even 2 hours, you will begin to make words out of it, because you'll begin to hear the words and phrases as you get used to it, as your ears acclimate to that sound. After 12 or 24 hours, you'll be picking out full sentences. But that isn't good enough. I was on a mission to figure out how to turn that signal that I just played you into something that I could hear, so that I could hear what he was hearing. And I did it. So first I had to pull out the signal, and that's what I played for you just now. Then I had to figure out how to play that signal in a way where just the phrases that were in his vicinity, in that jumbled mess, would jump up. So I started talking to him about how loud it was, how soft it was, how the tones were affecting him, I explained what low was, what low mids were, what high mids were, and what high end was. And he explained it to me sort of muffled, like it had a pillow over it. So I started doing some experimentation, and I figured out that by playing it at a certain level with another recorder recording the recording, I could totally and completely get those voices to jump out of the jumbled mess. The jumbled mess of audio that is virtually identical to what schizophrenics claim to hear. What I'm about to play you is the experiment that I did of the signal I played you, and I'm assuring you right now that the man who I'm working with was incapable of projecting his schizophrenia to a digital recorder. Here we go. So if you heard that for 2 hours, 4 hours, 12 hours, 3 days, 7 days, 14 days, you would get better and better and better at hearing what was being said, and there it jumps right out. So what is going on? I'm seriously asking you, what do you think is going on? The first line in there is, "We're saving him." I shouldn't even have to do it, but I'll talk along with it. We're saving him. I'll let it keep going. This is exactly what those schizophrenics put together, and it was recorded out of thin fucking air. That's the female voice jumping up, just like they show in the schizophrenia videos. Those are voices. I'm going to keep going. If you actually acclimated to this for a while and just looped it, you would be able to hear just about every word. That's all it takes. That's the end of the test. Now I'm going to pull up some clips, and I want to play you some individual clips. First, I'm going to loop the first creepy clip that was in that audio that said, "We're saving him." I'm just going to loop it. It's totally creepy, but it's totally audible. This is one of the funniest ones I heard. It says, "Stay away from the mailman." Stay away from the mailman. This voice says, "We are state police. We are state police." Here's state police. We are state police. This is exactly what these people hear 24 hours a day. This voice says, "I understand you." This one says, "They have something against me." They have something against me. Something against me. Sounds like schizophrenic stuff to me. Here's a female voice that says, "Your parents want you dead." That's pretty chipper and uplifting. This is a female voice that says, "I was following you." I was following you. Here's following you. This one says, "I want to see your face." I want to see your face. Here's a chipper voice saying, "I've got a bomb." Imagine what you could do with that. Here's a female voice saying, "I want you to pay." How does this differ from the schizophrenic audio? It absolutely doesn't. So where's this coming from? Let's talk about it. Where could it possibly be coming from? I just remembered something and I want to go back to a clip. This is the clip, "We are state police." So what happens when one of these people actually think that it's the state police doing it to them and goes after a cop? This is the same kind of shit that happened to Gavin Long and other people out there, and people actually go after cops. Aaron Alexis attacked the Navy because they probably did the same thing. If you're in law enforcement or know someone in law enforcement, think about this. This is why people do shit like this. So the people attacking this person with voice of God weapons is saying that they're the police. And they can't figure out why all this shit is going down around the country. It's mind-blowing. Okay, this is the last clip I'm going to show. It's the last clip I need to show. It's a voice that says, I'm trying to take you out. I'm trying to take you out. So this is what they do. They convince these people that they're being murdered, that people are coming after them, that they're the police, and shit goes down, and people can't figure out why it's happening. There's mental health issues. Oh, there's mental health issues. Kids can't go to school, so they're taking themselves out in droves. Are you kidding me? If you told me I didn't have to go to school, I'd be like, hell yeah. Can actually learn something. So finally, it's not just a signal anymore. There's concrete proof that people are actually hearing voices that are actually there, physically there in the room with them. And there's a technique now that can be used to bring those voices into the forefront so that other people can hear them. The game has changed. Look out for Charlie.